Gary.
I know you don't like to talk about playing until they're back and under consideration after injury, but the update said that Son has now had surgery. I just wondered if there was any more of an idea how long he'll be out.
According to him, weeks. A number of weeks. A big number of weeks. A few months.
And Harry, it's good to see him on Wednesday, handing the award to Jimmy's family. He looked quite mobile. I'm looking for the positives.
Thank you, Gary. No, the update is that he looks fine, yeah.
How's Deli Alli? Obviously we saw him.
Oh my God, Gary. And you are my friend. Dele Alli is fine.
Yeah. Did you have a word with him about his reaction?
No. No.
You'd like to see that kind of passion, I think.
Not as much.
You know, a few weeks back you said that you gave us the analogy about the blanket, trying to keep your shoulders warm and your feet get cold. Is it now more of a towel or a handkerchief?
It's so cold now. Come on, Gary.
A towel? A handkerchief? How small?
No, we are so strong that we don't need anything, you know? We can sleep in difficult circumstances, you know what I mean? We don't need to be in a very comfortable place. We rest when we can, which is not a lot. I was already with our friend from BT and I thank him already to choose the game for 12 o'clock. I can thank you also to choose the Sunday at Aston Villa before Leipzig. But we rest when we can and the way we can, and we go to every match ready for everything. That's the spirit we want to keep. Was really hard for the boys to be in this position. I remember when I arrived, my first conversation with them was, don't look to the table, forget that you are 12 points behind the fourth, don't establish any target, don't put a target, we want to finish top 6, or we just want to go match after match and let's see where this can take us. Well, in 3 months we went from being closer to the relegation positions, which obviously was never a problem, but we went from there to be 1 point behind the top 4. Amazing effort by everyone. So now that we are in this position, we earned the right to fight for it. It's difficult. In these moments, probably lots of people think will be impossible. Okay, will be impossible, but we are going to fight. And looking to the specificity of this match, which is the only thing that matters now, let's go.
I know you've had injury problems, setbacks, no strikers, etc. You are still smiling, and there's actually plenty to smile about, because if the season had started, which it didn't, when you took over, you'd be 11 points above Chelsea, third place in the table, 3 points behind Manchester City. So given that you started mid-season, given you had no pre-season, given you've got these injury problems, how proud are you of that achievement?
I am, but that's not about me. That's not about me. If it was about me, and I would even choose, let's move quick to the 1st of July and start a pre-season with my players without injuries, going to Premier League day one with the same points as everybody else. But that's not about me, that's about us, that's about the club, and we have to face it that way. Again, I repeat, the boys, they did fantastic to put themselves back in the positions where we belong. The positions where we belong are these positions of fighting for the top 4 positions. The situation is difficult. I think nobody else in the Premier League for sure, but even in European football, I don't think anybody else is in such a difficult situation as we are in terms of injuries in specific positions. And you know, but again, we go.
I know it's not about you. Stamford Bridge is about you, always will be about you. Is it special still to go back there?
No. No. Not special. One more game.
Why? Why is it no longer special?
Because I am a professional. Because I am, as I told, every time I played against my previous clubs, I belong to 100% to my club, and that's it. The only different thing would be, in the end of the game, I can walk from the stadium to my house. But even that, I will not take advantage of that, because I will come back with my players. So even for something that could be an advantage for me, I'm not going to use that as an advantage.
What about Frank Lampard in the opposite dugout? Is it special playing against him, seeing him again?
No. Seeing him is always nice. If I meet him in the street, if I meet him in a restaurant, if I meet him in the corridor of a football stadium, even as an opponent, is always nice to see him. But not special to play against his team. It's not against him, it's my team against his team. Not special.
When you were at United, you said that finishing second was your best ever achievement.
Yeah, maybe I win that title.
But here, not when you came in, you didn't have France's World Cup winning captain in goal. You now haven't got a striker. You've lost one of the world's best strikers in Son as well. If you get in the top 4 here, I'll put it to you that that is an even better achievement than finishing second that year with United, no?
In these circumstances, yes. Yes.
Because of all the adversity you've had to overcome.
Yeah. You know, stats are what it is, and sometimes stats are very silly, especially when sometimes people tries to identify what I call the quantitative stats, and forgets that football is much more about the qualitative stats, especially regarding players' performances. Everything is qualitative and not quantitative. But if you want to go in the direction of the numbers, Tottenham, without Harry or Sonny, without one of them, doesn't win a match since 2014. That means a lot. That means that Sonny and Harry, they score the majority of goals that Tottenham scores. And this season was so negatively special that we are going to be without them both at the same time for a lot of matches. So yes, not for me, not my how do you call it, achievement, collectively for the team, collectively for this group of boys. If we manage to finish 4th without Harry and Sonny, would be something incredible achievement for the boys. So we have to give everything we have.
George. Jose, hello. Have you known a season like this where you've taken over and you've lost or lose players? Have you ever experienced something like that in your previous clubs?
You know, it happened and will happen with other clubs, and for sure it happened. But I don't think for such a period of time. You know, I remember that, for example, once in Inter I had to play Thiago Motta's central defender because I didn't have any central defenders. This kind of situation can happen, but normally happens once, twice, because of injury, big injury, small injury, 5 yellow cards. But then the next week, the guy that had 5 yellow cards is back, and then the next week the guy that had a small injury is back, and then, but this situation for such a long period of time is very, very difficult. And I think the position, apart obviously the goalkeeper position, the position that is so specific, that is very, very difficult to find a solution and an adaptation, is exactly the striker position. You know, if we lose 4 right backs, you play Skip right back, you play Sissoko right back. If you lose 4 centre backs, you still can play Eric Dyer centre back. You still can bring Ben Davies and play centre back. The specificity of the striker position is very, very difficult. You cannot go now and say, Davison Sanchez, now you play centre forward. It's very difficult. So, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is, and we have to go to the game with everything we have. And to be honest, worries me a lot the fact that the situation for us cannot be better, can only be worse. You know, if you say, okay, in 1 week Harry Kane is back, in 2 weeks Harry Kane is back, in 3 weeks Sonny is back, the situation can only be more difficult for us. Because, for example, now, next week we play Wolves, 2 days later we play Norwich, 2 days later we play Burnley. Thank you very much to choose the game for 5:30 TV. 2 days later we play Leipzig. So we are going to arrive at Leipzig after 8 days, 3 matches. Very hard, very hard. So good fun, in the end good fun, good experience for everyone, a good test of the players' resilience and spirit, and also for them, I think, unique experience. And we go together, and I think next season we will smile, because for sure we will be in a very different situation that we are now.
You mentioned next season. You've signed Willian before. Could you potentially sign him again next season?
I don't speak about players from other clubs.
And what reception do you expect to get tomorrow?
The usual.
Which is?
The usual.
Okay, Jonathan at the back. You've got one.
I think Musa will give us some matches this season. I think he will give us some matches this season. He went outside, started a little bit. Next week we'll have a different phase of his recovering, in an optimistic but realistic situation. I would expect Musa to be playing still a few weeks of football with us. So a few weeks for me
Number of weeks.
will be like 6 weeks of football with us, half of May and the whole of April. So I think with Musa, in normal conditions, we are going to have him back by end March, beginning of April, I wait.
And just on the operation,
No, it looks like everything went well. Yeah.
Okay, finish with Ali and then Charlie. Ali.
Jose, can I talk to you about Tommy under Nelly? I mean, we're 6 months into the season now. I think, if I remember correctly, he had pretty much a full pre-season. Is there any concern that he's still in this stage where he maybe can't give you the full 90 minutes?
You know, I can only speak about 3 months. And 3 months injuries, small injuries, setbacks, difficult to reach a good physical level, playing intermittent, playing one match and then getting injured again. So difficult time.
You mentioned about the global training program you've got him working on. Can you see the benefits from that? Is he starting to kind of improve his overall?
Well, at least he's not being injured in the last few weeks. He played good 30 minutes in the last game, and was of course a game of high intensity. So hopefully is only to improve. I hope that the first time he plays a match in the starting lineup, I hope that in that match he can play, he can be on the pitch for I would say 60 to 90 minutes and not have any setback again.
Let's ask about Eric Lamela as well. First off, is he back training with the squad now? And also, how important is he at this time again as well to have him back?
Not training with the squad, just being protected to be in conditions to give us some time in the next match. A player that I like very, very much, I always liked, but a difficult season for him, lots of injuries, lots of problems, an incredible spirit to recover, an incredible spirit to work. Didn't even go home to Argentina in these days that we gave to the boys. Stayed here, working hard to trying to do what he did for us in the last game, which was no training, no condition, but I'm there to help. And tomorrow will be the same. You will be there to try to help us.
Okay, finish with Charlie.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Charlie.
Sorry, can't really top that. In the last game we played Chelsea in December, they went 3 at the back and created quite a lot of chances in that first.
Tomorrow the same.
You think they'll go the same?
I was told the same, yeah.
So how will you approach the game differently than how you did in December?
Well, first of all, I have to see the players that I have available, their condition. We don't have obviously the same players that we had in the match of the first round of matches. And yes, I was told they go back to that 5, which is what they normally do when the results are not the best. They did that when they went to Lille. They did that when they come to us. A system that they played for a few years, a system that they are very comfortable. Of course, Alonso back to the team, fantastic going forward on that side. Is a system very adapted to their routines and to the qualities of their players. But you know, they have so many players, they have so many options that they can do what the manager decides to do. In this moment, we don't have many options to sink in a game on a tactical approach, because we have what we have, and with the players that we have available, we'll have to try always to build a competitive team, which is what we are going to try tomorrow.
Okay. You wanted one more.
Yeah, one more. It's not on football. It's on boxing. Because I know you're a big fan of Anthony Joshua. I know you've met AJ. But tomorrow is Wilder against Fury 2. And I just wondered if I could have your insight into who you think might win, and are you going to watch it, and are you excited about it?
I don't know if I'm going to watch, so I cannot say that I'm very excited because I'm much more focused on my game and on the football weekend. The only thing I can say to all these big guys of boxing is that if they think about to fight in London, there is only one place to fight now.
London Stadium.
The best stadium in the world, you know. That's the only place where they can do a fantastic show.
You want to give me a winner, Wilder or Fury?
If I could choose, that's not fair to say what I could choose.
I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.